In August 2024, Kolkata, a city known for its joy, was filled with sadness and anger. A horrible crime happened at the well-known R.G. Carr Medical College and Hospital. A young doctor in training who was dedicated to her work and had a bright future was found murdered inside the hospital. The details were very disturbing and showed a violent attack. The victim had also been sexually assaulted, which reminded everyone that women can be in danger, even in places meant to keep people safe. This event shocked everyone, especially other doctors and medical workers. People wondered, how could something so awful happen in a hospital, a place for healing? Everyone wanted answers. The victim's name hasn't been shared to respect her family's privacy. She became a symbol of the problems that led to this tragedy. The police started investigating and a name came up: Sanjay Roy. He worked at the hospital as a civic volunteer. Roy quickly became the main suspect and was arrested within a day of the body being found, but people were still very angry. Everyone wanted to know who Sanjay Roy was and how he had so much power in the hospital. The search for justice was going to be long and difficult. It would show the hidden problems of power, corruption and violence in places meant to keep people safe. Sanjay Roy wasn't just a regular civic volunteer. News stories and people who saw him at the hospital described a man who pretended to have a lot of power and influence. His past was mysterious. Some reports said he worked as a cook at R.G. Carr in 2016, but then disappeared. He came back in 2019, this time wearing the uniform of a civic volunteer with the Kolkata police. People wondered how a former cook got that job, but Roy wanted even more power. He quickly gained influence in the hospital. People who knew him said he did whatever he wanted. He would take money to get people hospital beds, taking advantage of those who were sick and desperate. He knew student leaders and even police officers, and some people said he bribed them to move people to different jobs in the hospital. By 2021, Roy was very powerful at R.G. Carr. He worked security at the emergency entrance and trauma area, which gave him control over who could enter important parts of the hospital. He seemed to control everything, even though he was just a civic volunteer. What happened on the night of August 8th, 2024 is still unclear and very sad. Security camera footage showed Sanjay Roy near where the crime happened. DNA from the victim matched his. The violence of the crime and the evidence made him look very guilty. But there were problems with the investigation. People said it wasn't done correctly, and maybe someone tried to hide things. The autopsy was done before the police officially reported the crime, which was a big mistake. Two people, the former head of the medical college and a police officer, were arrested for messing with the crime scene and delaying the report. Leaked photos suggested a bigger problem, maybe involving people connected to the Trinamool Chhatra Parishad, the student group of the ruling political party. The TMCP was powerful at the college, and rumors of their involvement made people distrust the investigation. The problems with the investigation made people wonder if Sanjay Roy acted alone or if he was part of something bigger. Everyone wanted answers, and they didn't trust the authorities anymore. The terrible crime at R.G. Carr made people in Kolkata and all over very angry and sad. Doctors who already have difficult jobs were especially upset. Young doctors who work long hours in stressful situations were furious. They wanted justice for their colleague and better safety in hospitals. Thousands of people protested in Kolkata, showing their anger and frustration. Junior doctors went on strike for more than 40 days, stopping medical services. They wanted justice, better hospital security, and a real investigation into the corruption in healthcare. The public supported the doctors. This event showed how unsafe women can be in a society where violence against women is a big problem. The protests showed everyone's anger and frustration, and they wanted those in charge to take responsibility. The R.G. Carr incident showed the problems that allowed this tragedy to happen. It showed the corruption in healthcare where people like Sanjay Roy could take advantage of the system. The incident also showed that healthcare workers, especially women, are not safe. They often work long hours in isolated areas without enough security. The protests showed that things need to change to keep healthcare workers safe. The government's response was confusing. They removed some important police and health officials, which showed they were listening to the public, but they also said female doctors shouldn't work at night, which many people thought was a bad idea. The Supreme Court stopped that rule, saying they needed real solutions, not rules that hurt women. The case also showed how powerful people often get away with violence against women. The possible involvement of people with political connections, the problems with the crime scene, and the delayed report all pointed to a system that protects powerful people instead of finding justice. The RG car incident isn't the only one. It reminds us of the many violent crimes against women in India. It's like the 2012 Delhi gang rape case, which led to huge protests and changed laws about sexual assault. Even with stricter laws, women in India are still not safe. Official reports show that crimes against women are increasing. Every 16 minutes, a woman is raped in India. These aren't just numbers, these are real people whose lives are destroyed. The RG car incident shows that we need to fix the reasons why violence against women happens. We need to change the thinking that makes men feel superior to women and create a culture of respect. We need better police work, faster trials, and to hold powerful people accountable. Getting justice for the murdered doctor isn't just about punishing the guilty, it's about stopping the system that lets these crimes happen. The anger and protests after the RG car incident show that more people are aware of and against violence against women in India. It started a national conversation about women's safety, making people face uncomfortable truths about our society. The case also showed that healthcare workers are not safe. They often work in difficult and dangerous places. A 2022 survey found that 75% of doctors in India have experienced some kind of violence at work, from verbal abuse to physical attacks. This shows that hospitals and other healthcare places need better security to protect the people who save lives. The RG car incident is a wake-up call. It shows we have a long way to go to achieve equality and justice for everyone. It's a call for real change, not just words, to make sure everyone is safe and treated with respect. Even though the initial shock and anger are fading, the fight for justice for the murdered doctor continues. The Central Bureau of Investigation, CBI, India's top investigative agency, is now in charge of the case. The CBI has a big job to investigate fairly, find the truth and bring those responsible to justice. People still don't fully trust the investigation. The problems with the initial investigation, the possible involvement of powerful people, and the idea of a cover-up have created doubt. The CBI needs to work hard to regain public trust and make sure justice is done. The fight for justice isn't just about the courtroom, it's about changing the societal norms that lead to violence against women. It's about creating a future where women can live without fear, where their voices matter, and where they are safe. The RG Car Medical College incident is a terrible event that has shocked the nation. It reminds us that we still have a lot of work to do to create a fair and equal society. The road ahead is long and difficult, but we must keep fighting for justice and equality. This incident needs to be a reason for change. We must demand that our leaders take responsibility, make our institutions stronger, and challenge the ideas that lead to violence and discrimination. We need to think carefully about this as a nation and have conversations that lead to real actions that protect everyone's safety and dignity. We must remember the murdered doctor and work towards a future where these tragedies don't happen, and everyone can live without fear and violence.